I'm going to let some more folks in. We've still got some folks joining, but I think we are good to go ahead and kick things off. I'll just go ahead and say welcome, everyone. This is the first, hopefully not the last, of a fun event we're doing teamed up with the Atlassian community events. We've got the Trello Trailblazers, which if you don't know about, I'm going to put a link in the chat. But that is me and Mike Day's Club of Trello Enthusiasts, which if you are not part of, you definitely should join because we do events like this and different things all day, every day about Trello. I shouldn't say every day we do events, but we are in spirit about Trello all day and every day. And we try to do events at least once a month to make all of that happen. So check out the link in the chat and definitely join if you're not already a member. And yeah, I don't know, Pyle, if you want to say anything about community events or anything like that.
Yeah,
We got
most
Spot here.
definitely. Hey everyone, so I'm joining from Atlassian from the community programs team. I work on events over here. You probably have seen a few events pop up in the community HQ chapter. We're hoping to have more fun, collaborative events like this. We have a few trivia events, just fun ways of connecting each other, and then also knowledge sharing like this event over here. So we'll take it over to Brittany and Mike to really host and make sure this event goes smoothly. But thank you all for
Yeah.
joining.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining. This is super exciting. And I don't know about you, but have you all seen all of those memes where it's like, people are like, I made a spreadsheet and I was super proud of it and I showed my friends and no one cared and it's super sad. Every time I see one of those, all I can think about is my Trello boards and how this happens for me at least once a week or at least once a month, but even once a week, I will make something and do something in Trello. And before I met Mike, I just didn't feel like I had too many people that would appreciate that. Like I love my partner and I would show it to her, but she'd be like, "Oh, that is cool." And like, "Yay, honey." But now I feel like I see right now we've got a whole group of friends who are just as excited about these things as I am, and so I'm very excited for me and all of my friends here to be able to show different stuff and talk about Trello together. So we have a special session today where we've got three folks from the Atlassian community here who are going to show us how they use Trello for some really cool personal projects. We all know the standard Kanban of, to do, doing, and done, move your stuff from work, but we're going to talk about personal projects and some different things you can do with Trello there. So, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to who we got up first. Alicia, I'm going to kick it over to you. And if you want to go ahead and screen share and tell us about your board.
Okay, perfect, Brittany. Uh, First of all, hello everyone, and I am so happy to be here with my Trello freaky nerds in the world.
Yes.
Uh, I am happy as Brittany because when I talk about Trello with my friends, it's but it's very excited to talk with someone who loves. So I'm going to share my I work with Trello, but today we are going to talk about our personal usage of Trello, and I'm going to share my oh, I don't know if I can share.
Yes, I
Uh,
think, is it letting you share now? I don't know why. I said I'm done sharing and it still thinks I'm sharing audio. So, but you
okay,
should be able to share. Is it letting you?
okay,
It's
perfect.
the because the sound was being shared, there was just a minor different setting you had to deactivate, but
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how to
Okay,
stop sharing my sound. So don't worry. I'm not going to be watching any random YouTube videos and sharing that in the background here.
so it's okay. Do you see
Yep. We can see
my?
your screen. Yep.
Okay, okay, babe. As you see, I'm going to talk about my present family board. Uh, this is useful for me. Why is this useful for me? Well, you think, for example, you see some presents along the year, and you think this present is perfect for someone of my family or of your friend. But when Christmas arrives, for example, or a birthday arrives, you don't remember that perfect present for that person. So this is my present board to remember all of these presents that I see along the year. So I have one list of ideas, random ideas, maybe the things that normally I present to my family, but you can add some cards with a link, for example, of Amazon or a shop that you have seen, and then I have a list for my daughter, for my son, for my daughter, for my boy, for my husband, and for me, of course, because sometimes uh, when it's my birthday, they ask me, "What do you want for present?" And I don't remember, so I look my board and I see that present I thought some months ago. So it's very useful for me to remember and to be more effective in the birthdays or Christmas. Um, so the way I add a card is normally with that things, for example, agenda, or maybe with the mobile phone, you can share the link, for example, and add in a card in the board directly and with the link. For example, I'm going to do it with this, but if I copy, for example, Moleskine, if someone wants to give me a Moleskine, I love it. You can search. So I can put here. It's more quickly with the mobile because you can share directly the link to the car, and then you only have to move. No, my husband not. It's better to me. I'm going to it's my the label. My husband is for me. As you see, the label of my name directly has put in the car. So because I have made a rule uh, so that every time I add a car in the list of Alba or Sergio, add directly the corresponding label. This is useful for me because when I have this list of birthdays or Christmas, I move the card directly to Christmas or birthday with the person corresponding. For example, Sergio is for birthday. Oh, sorry. This gift is for birthday, or the headphones are for birthday too, or maybe for Christmas. Uh, so when Christmas arrived, I have a list with all the gifts I have thought during the year to my family. Um, Also, a power up. I don't know if you know a power up called Costello. Uh, with this power up, you can see the what do you spend, what you spend in this case in every person of my family. But for example, when you organize an event or organize a travel, you can see what did you spend, for example, in travel, in car, or in theater, or in in everything you spend. In this case, I can see what I spent through by column or by label. In this case, it's the same because the list are the persons and the label too. But here you see what do you spend in Alba, for example, in Sergio, you can add here the total cost you spend, for example, 50, sorry, and it appears here. You can see uh, by level or by columns. So it's a good way to see what do you spend. And and that's all. I think is the example I wanted you to show.
That's perfect. That is amazing, Alicia. I love this, and there's been a lot of chat in the chat talking about how this is like such a great example of Trello and how you can make something that's very simple and easy to use, and then layer on additional features as you need them. And I love the cost tracking. That's actually a reason I used to use a board kind of similar. I used a different power up when I was doing the cost tracking, and it's about time for me to break out my holiday shopping boards again. So we'll see which one I use this year. But I love doing the exact same sort of thing where I can keep track of how much I'm spending, and sometimes I'll even do like a budget versus actual, so I can see I was planning to spend this much, and I always go over on my gift giving. I like, especially because I have such a process like this where I always know what to get someone that I'm like, oh, I've collected like five different ideas of things I want to get them throughout the year, and
Yes.
I can't pick just one.
Okay.
So yeah,
Nice.
thank you so much for sharing that. I totally love
Thank
that. And
you.
yeah, um, Andy, you're up next. Show us about travels, which we're all, a bunch of us here at least are pretty big travelers.
Oh my
Some of us are
gosh.
traveling next week or 2 weeks
Yeah,
to Barcelona.
exactly. Euro Team 24. I will see Mike and Alicia there. Vámonos. Hasta pronto, amigos. So, oh my gosh, where to start? I can't believe when we were discussing this internally on the leader Slack and I said I want travel, I could sense, nobody said it, but I could sense that, he got the easy one because Trello is
It's
amazing,
perfect for
amazing for
it.
the travel. Yeah, exactly. What am I on? 10 minutes today?
10
I'm very
minutes,
used to.
yes.
I don't normally talk. I normally host. So
Yes.
let's crack on. So what
Yes,
I
go
wanted
ahead.
to
I'll
do,
start your timer.
let's go. Let's go. Let's start a timer. So I wanted to start. Let's just do the famous Zoom stuff. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Oh, cool. All right. So I wanted to first start with a very, very, very short introduction. I'm a massive Trello nerd, and I've used it in corporations massively. So for anyone interested in super high level, it's better than Jira for quality assurance, all sorts of crazy DevOps and stuff like that. Check out this one. This is when I was involved in helping set up the support through JSM and into Trello for this massive project for IKEA Place augmented reality app. So, basic introduction as to how much of a Trello nerd I am. And I have 12 Atlassian accounts or something like this. So right now we're looking at my personal one that I use across the board from all sorts. So we've got our house renovation on there. Also Christmas presents. Trello is amazing for helping with checklists and ticking off custom fields and stuff like that. So that's amazing. I've been using it because my wife bought me a brewing kit. I've never brewed beer in my life, so I'm using Trello for that. I've used it massively for music over the years, working with different producers on demos and stuff like that. It's so good to keep track of what we're doing, where we're at and stuff. So this one is like just a basic ideas board where all sorts of crap gets thrown on there, but then we will transition to a full album. And as you can see from the colors, from the checklist, from the due dates and stuff, it's just really awesome to keep track of where we are and what we're doing. And another thing I love as well is that Trello can be very easily used for content management as well. Connect it to Confluence if you need to do documentation or connect it to your G Drive or something like that. So this card here, demo, that's like the final demo version with an MP3 link to the G Drive or whatever. And we actually just the other year, I helped a band NDA with their lyrics and the songwriting and stuff. They made a whole demo. So that's me in one of their album inlays with their t-shirt and my thumb up and stuff like that. So yeah, Trello is so diverse, especially for these hobbies, these creative pieces, not just the business and stuff like that. And right now, pièce de résistance, we are really hoping to get to Japan sometime soon, but it's very, very expensive. So naturally, to help my wife and I with everything that we want to achieve, we are going to use a Trello board, obviously. And so what we did was really easy because we just copied it from one of our previous Asia trips when we went to Korea. And I love this board so much because it's more than just the ideas and what you want to go to, right? When you go traveling. So there's a lot of TikTok video links getting shared and all of that sort of stuff. And eventually all of those get split up into different categories in the list, right? So places to go, all that sort of stuff. Eateries, some famous eateries we've seen on Instagram or something like that. But then it comes down to really important aspects. So it's more than just visiting the K-pop headquarters and going to their shops and stuff. It comes down to budgets. It comes down to the necessary items and the nitty-gritty and stuff like that. So what I wanted to do with my remaining 6 minutes, 6 minutes? Yeah, 6 minutes. I just wanted to
Yeah,
go
yes.
through each of the lists and kind of why we made that decision and why Trello is so good for that, basically, at the end of the day. So the first column is all about the budget. So we basically went through everything that we think we're going to need. And this is getting updated constantly, right? Because we hadn't thought about travel cards or a Wi-Fi egg when we first were going through all of this. But then you can make each card for each of those major purchases, basically. So you go through flights, you go through hotel. You can see here we had no idea about attractions. So actually we should retrospectively have updated that and stuff like that. We want to have some cash around with us as well. So all of that can be inputted there, and then you just sum it all up, and then you've got your total budget right at the top. And then, of course, super, super important is the travel. So being able to make a whole list just about the flight details, where we're going. It's direct to Incheon. From Incheon, you could take the limo bus or you could take the train. Having a map on there as well, right? So you can just, have a quick reference as to, well, where's Incheon in relation to the rest of the city? Where's our hotel and all that sort of stuff. And then we even did something fun. So we had a travel attire, which is from Resolution, a marketplace partner from the Atlassian ecosystem. So we did family black t-shirts and jeans. So not just the boring logistics, but also something really, really fun. And then what we went through was really important. So how many days do we have there and what are we planning on doing on each of them? So we really scheduled out per card, per day, what we're doing. So there was the flight outbound, day two was arrival. So we weren't planning on doing much, just a little bit of walking around, hop on, hop off tours. Really went through everything that we really wanted to do all the time, all the way up until obviously our return and the outbound flight and stuff like that. So I had at one point I had a countdown app on my phone connected. I think I did it on Trello through Zapier so that we could see the countdown being constantly updated, which was really cool. And then of course the major dates. So really important to just have those in general beyond the ideal day planning. And then we go through lists like the accommodation and the locations and stuff like that. And then back to this section. So all of the really cool stuff about ideas. And that's what I really love about Trello. People have already in the chat been talking about its accessibility, being able to share it. Nowadays, I think when we first started this one, Atlassian wasn't enforcing Atlassian IDs. So the wife had some problems when they did, and she's like, "What the hell is an Atlassian ID? Why do I have to sign up properly, etc., etc." But it is still very accessible, very easy to share, public board, or you can add your guest collaborators. So there's a whole Trello Blazer episode about do you pay for your collaborators, yes or no? So we won't go into that today. But it was really awesome because every time we were in our planning mode and something came up, it was just really easy on the phone. I use Trello a lot on the go to just use my widget and go add card. So my wife would go, "Oh, we've completely forgotten about Wi-Fi boxes. We have to get them at the airport." And it's one of those classic moments I think a lot of people experience. You might be out and about at the shops or even, sorry to be a bit crass, on the toilet, and you suddenly think, oh my God, yeah, we haven't thought about that. And so it's really easy to grab the Trello app and go, right, later we need a card just for Wi-Fi box. So it didn't have all its checklists and all its comments and links and updates and stuff and a beautiful picture, but it was there for us to do our review during all of our planning time. Um, 2 minutes left. So at the end of the day, it really helped us focus. It really helped us look at what we needed to do. And what we found interesting is as we got closer and closer to the main event itself was the big to-do list before departure. So both my son and I have medication that under the opium law of Korea needs to be declared well in advance. And it got really complex. So I don't mind sharing what this all looked like, but we had to reach out to the narcotics team, which is basically the military police, and go through all these different documentations, check the legislation for Holland, go through all sorts of different documentation, right? So we had, oh, I did get that one. Should have ticked it off. Classic Trello moment. You don't tick off your checklist when something's done. And really know, okay, we need form 1 and 2, completed PDF signed, sent to them, copy of passport, etc., etc. And so for travel, especially to another part of the world, not within, for us, not within Europe, or for people in the States, not within the United States, it just gets more and more complex. And so Trello was an absolute lifesaver in terms of gather the data, put in the checklists, what are the hyperlinks, where are we compiling all of our data? Do we need a G drive connection right through a power up? Or do we just slap the PDFs on the attachments? Where are we at with all of this? And you can't see it here. But originally we did have my wife asked me to turn it off. But we did have due dates as well because we needed to chase the narcotics team because when we first sent the forms and everything, they said we are overloaded. We're only looking at October trips, early September. And then mid-September we hadn't heard from them. So the chase had started. We actually were using due dates and stuff like that. So that is my 10 minutes. Hope
That's
you all
amazing.
enjoyed it.
That was fantastic, Andy. And yeah, you actually technically have 1 more minute going, but what I will ask of that is a question that
Sure.
somebody posted in the chat. How much of all of the things we've talked about, I believe everything we've discussed thus far is free, correct? Especially relating to like your travel boards and things. I believe your workspace for this one is all on the free plan, right? Or were there any premium things?
Actually, I should say very correctly because it's no longer relevant, but I was paying the $50 a year for gold back in the day. So I did
Right.
have
Yes.
gold
Yeah.
on.
Showing your Trello age right
There we
there.
go, showing my Trello age. So I did have on this one, I was paying for Butler as well back in the day before it became
Yeah.
included in packages. So I was paying for gold and I was paying for Butler. But
Yeah.
now it's all now that that one's deprecated in terms of payments and premium. It's not paid anymore. So what you saw, you can do all of that with free.
Perfect.
I guess
Yeah. Love
one
it.
of the things in the travel boards that you might use paid for is the map view, which is a premium
Yeah,
feature.
I was gonna
But
say I
I
I
love it.
use that, but I use Trello Premium for other stuff as well. So like I go really hard on Trello. So I do end up using premium, but most of the things you can get by with for free. But yeah, the map view lets you add like locations to that so you can view all of the cards sorted on a map, which is kind of nice sometimes for travel. But yeah, definitely not a requirement. And
Yeah,
okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Andy. That was awesome. It's making me super excited. I actually have tasks I need to do today for my Italy trip that's coming up
awesome.
next week in my Trello board. So, yeah, so love that. And last but not least, we're now going to pass over to Carolyn, who's going to show us her board about books. And do we have readers here? Who's readers? Who loves to read or articles, content, anything? Yeah, yeah. Most of y'all are off camera, so I'm gonna have you put it in the chat. I guess then rather raise hands. But yeah, what are you all reading right now? I'm currently reading a book called Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. If we have any gamers here who also like to read, that's a pretty great book. I recommend. It's very interesting, just talking about like the gaming industry and all sorts of things going on there. So anyways, Cloud Atlas, okay, love it. The Anxious Generation, Amanda, that's on my list. Yeah, give me some more reading things here. Oh, interesting. Toshiba Satellite Menu. Okay, not your typical reading, maybe, Liz, but I definitely think, somebody's got to read that for the rest of us. So yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna pass it over to Carolyn now and tell us how we can organize books in Trello.
Cool. So my name is Carolyn. I'm as well, a community leader and Trello aficionado. And I'm currently reading Doppelganger by Naomi Klein, which is very good, very exciting. I don't have a lot of personal book organization for you to do, but I'm part of a book club, or I was actually, I just moved in the last year. So I was going back and seeing, oh, I did last year's books, but I haven't done this year. Usually we start a new year in like September. So I can show you that, but I did have a trip down nostalgia lane because I believe actually Trello was the first of all the Atlassian products before it was even Atlassian that I used. I'm in project management and was working with a group doing leadership seminars. So we were organizing using Trello, which is one of the classic use cases, of course, but you're here to find out more than that. So let me share my screen and I'll show you how I was organizing for our book club, what we would read. And go ahead and share. This was kind of the article that I was inspired to create a Trello template. This badge is no longer exists, but Erica was one of the Atlassians who was very, very special person that I think encouraged a lot of us to, do more in the Atlassian community. And Andy, you also posted in here, and I went to your links because they were, I think, QA and product dev for the project you were doing with IKEA, but they're no longer active, which is sad. So I posted this was where I was inspired, but it was back in 2020. And I did finally post last year and realized the badge was not active. So that's just a funny little story, but if you go into templates, so back when I was looking, oh, what can I do that's kind of different that nobody's done before? There was no book clubs in here. So I thought, oh, I've already worked on this book club template. Let me do that. But since then, there is one in here. And what I will say is in the book club boards I'm going to show you, we didn't actually vote on the books there. That was done like offline, either in person or through email. But this one uses the voting power up to vote. So that's kind of cool. But it's different. It's like listing all the books and then voting on them. Really what I was trying to do with the objective of the book club board was really to stay organized by the month. So every month we choose a different book. Who's going to present it? When is it going to be presented? Like a kind of leader of the session itself. And then if they want to share any links about the author, which people usually do, the author, anything related, if it's historical fiction, any YouTube videos, and then even ask questions. So it didn't turn out to be as interactive as it could be, just depending on how Trello, how technology enabled your group is and how much they want to log in and things like that. But for me, it's nice because it's colorful. It makes me remember things. I can sort things in one place. But here's the template board. So I think I put this in chat. Oop, I didn't hit. There we go. So this one's a public template. And it kind of walks you through what this is meant to be. Oh, and I linked the other template too. So if you want to find the other one that does the voting power up, you can go in there. Originally, when I started this was back in 2019. A lot of cool things like fields and things like that were in the free version. And I did a lot of automations too, but I've generally scaled that back down as things are not free anymore. So it is more of a basic board now. But what's nice too is that once you create a workspace for your book club, you don't have to add them to individual boards. It's there. You can just share the board links and people can join. You can change these to quarters or whatever, whatever your frequency is of the book club. And then I added a template card here that people can copy and add into different columns. Usually my book club also looks at Amazon ratings, the book description, how many pages long it is, and we have different criteria like that for choosing our books as well. So I just add the links in there. Yeah, I just love seeing the cover of the book because I'm usually on Kindle. So I don't know. I do love the cover of the book. I used to have a big library, but then when I started living in moving a lot, living in other countries, I had to pare down the physical books. Sad, but I'm sure many of you can relate or also love reading books, bigger books. So this is an example of one that I did. We did back in, yeah, this was back in 2019. But you'll see there's kind of different areas for putting what the discussion date is, who's leading it. This is back when we used custom fields, but we don't use those anymore. A lot of good books that year. And then this one was this past year. And yeah, did use due dates, but it does look a little strange. It's overdue, but you can go back in and check them if you want. So that's the basic idea. This is the workspace, which doesn't have to be premium, but if you want more than 10 collaborators to have access to this, so depending on how big your book group is, it could be bigger and you need premium. So that's a bit about the kind of book club templates and what you can do there. I also did want to quickly show you because nobody covered food, and food is very important. I'm just going to show you a little preview of whenever we have a big holiday dinner and this kind of thing, and Thanksgiving is coming up. Usually I put together a board, and that way I can quickly access, okay, I mean, it'd be even better if I had photos of what these turned out to be, but this looks better. But the recipe, what ingredients we need, and things like that. So I can remember kind of what our Thanksgivings look like and Christmas usually. So yeah, there's a lot of other ways to use it for food, but I find this one captures Trello's essence of like making things beautiful and visually appealing, and also giving you that kind of remembering food log journal-esque. And I loved, Andy, your travel one. And it made me remember too, when people ask you, oh, what did you love about your Korea trip? So I'm gonna have to ask you at some point. And I thought about that when I went to Paris for the first time this year. And so I have a whole column of like advice and things I wish I knew. So when people are like, oh, you went to Paris, like I'm gonna go there too. What do you recommend? Like it's easy to find obviously the things you did that you liked, but like bring a water bottle into the Louvre because if you leave, it's very hard to get back in, and there's no easy place to get a water bottle in that museum. So kind of like fun things to remember from there. So that's it from me. Any questions?
This is awesome, Carolyn, and thank you for the bonus case. Managing food in Trello is probably my favorite because I hate meal planning. And like you said, I love this visual aspect of it. It's like a more useful version of Pinterest that looks pretty, but is like actually actionable. So yeah, and book club is really great too. One of the things that I discovered using for Trello many years ago that felt like a weird use case was using it as like a forum. And so while I didn't have book club specifically, we had like a bunch of us were into like personal finance, and we ended up using a Trello board to just kind of collaborate and like share articles we found and then kind of comment on them and say, oh, here's what I thought about them. Or like, even if it wasn't an article, it was like, what do you think about, 401ks or whatever? And like people could, comment in there and discuss. And I'm not saying it's going to overtake Reddit anytime soon, but it was kind of a cool idea, just being able to tie together that collaboration aspect. And so I can see how that would work really well for a book club too. Like that could be another example is you maybe have like one big card or one main card for like the book and then different cards for like different discussion points if you want to keep track of it like asynchronously or anything. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That was awesome. Thank you everybody for sharing. This has been really, really cool and really informative. And even I find new things to do in Trello all the time from stuff like this. So I definitely think it's super fun, super inspiring, and I'm very appreciative of everyone coming and sharing your use cases. And so as we're coming to the end here, we did promise a giveaway of two $15 virtual gift cards here. And so I've got our winners here. So I'm gonna need like a virtual drum roll, like I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. There we go. That worked well. Thank you, Mike. So our first winner is Pradeep. I'm going to mispronounce the name, I'm sure, but Shrivastava. I'm gonna post the name in the chat just in case I totally butchered that. And then our second winner is Monica Montoya Quintero. Hopefully I didn't butcher that one too, but I'm posting those in the chat just so you can see, and these are going to be emailed to you. We've got your emails because I turned off my camera. How did I do that? We've got your emails from when you signed up, so we will send those over. So yeah, thank you so much everybody for joining. Few closing thoughts on my end. Just want to make sure if you have not already signed up for the Trello Trailblazers, I posted a link in the chat. I'm going to post another one, but this is our club, all things Trello, and we've got events coming up. We actually have one coming up next week called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it's a series we've been doing where we go through different power-ups and that solve different problems, and we're actually talking specifically about email and Trello. So again, post that specific link. Make sure to RSVP for that event. And shameless plug for myself, I have a newsletter all about Trello. So if you go to trello.substack.com or just howtotrello.com, it will redirect you there. And this is my newsletter. And I every week share things you can do in Trello and give inspiration and ideas. I love answering user questions. I have a whole what I call Dear Taco section where I share, like, someone can submit questions and I answer them, and just I give the best advice that I can. Sometimes I loop Mike and others into helping me answer too, so it's a great place to nerd out about Trello with folks. And yeah, with that, any other closing thoughts, Mike or Pyle or anybody?
For me, I think this. I was really looking forward to this because I spend all my life in Trello, but most of the time I'm doing Trello boards for companies. So seeing people's personal inspiration and how they've realised that in Trello boards is really good. And it kind of I think people have got more imagination than I have, and I like to look at these boards, and no doubt I'll be stealing a few little ideas from some of them. So thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. Love the inspiration.
I have a closing thought.
Share it. Love it.
Trello is a million miles better than Jira. A million miles better than Jira.
Hot takes. Hey, we were saying in the chat, there's room for everything, right? There's times you might use different tools for different things. We've got, lots of everything's got a purpose. I definitely agree, though, there are a lot of things that Trello is easier and superior in for a lot of use cases, I will say.
I mean, it's hard to justify setting up an entire Jira project for your travel, whereas as Andy said, like, you can just duplicate your previous travel board from Trello and it works just as well. And if you keep doing that over and over again, fast, easily, and you can share it with your wife without confusing the hell out of them. So that's great.
Exactly. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we are good to call it a wrap. So everybody can, get a little time back before their next meeting. And I kept my promise. No meeting dominoes here. So if you've got something at the top of the hour, you've even got time to go to the bathroom. Like, I mean, you're all set. Refill your drink. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this. Thank you again so much, everyone, for joining. It was really good to have you all, and hopefully see you at future events at Trello Trailblazers and Atlassian Community.
And if anyone's going to team in Barcelona, we'll see you there.
Yeah. I won't be there, but I'll be there sending hugs virtually.
In spirit, you will be in our hearts. Don't worry.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
We'll send you photos.
Yes, that's exactly. Please do.
Yes.
Awesome. Alrighty, folks. See you on the flippity flop.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
This is all.